So the next concept we're going to talk about is attribute reader, which is a method that allows you to get data that you have set on an instance of an object. So in this code we have a variable TV, which is an instance of the item class, and it has two different data points, TV and 2. So there are 2 TVs in this new instance, and we set those on creation of the object using initialize, which we covered before. And then we have these 2 other methods. The first is item name, and the second is quantity. And you can see that item name has an instance variable of item name, and quantity has an instance variable of quantity, which we get from initialize. And then if we come down to lines 18 and 19 in our text editor, see that we're taking TV and calling the method item name, and taking TV and calling the method of quantity. Now calling these 2 methods is what is allowing us to get the data. And so that's what it's allowing us to retrieve the data. And let me show you how this is actually working. So we clear this, we go Ruby attribute reader 1.rb. We can see that it is retrieving the data that we pass to it in initialize of TV and quantity in the order in which we called them. So these 2 are acting as getter methods, and that is great, but it is not the most succinct way of doing this. Let's minimize this for a second, and let's come over to attribute reader 2. So what is happening in this code? Again, we have an item, and we are, well, this variable is called item instead of TV, but it's doing the same thing. We pass it a string of TV and a quantity of 2, and we again are calling on the methods item name and quantity, but we don't see those methods below initialize anymore. But what we do have is attribute reader, and so these 2 symbols here, item name and quantity, are acting as methods for us. They are doing the same thing that item name and quantity were doing in the other code. And look at how much shorter our code is. Instead of having 19 lines in our text editor, we have 14 lines. And imagine if we continued to create new objects from item, our code would get really long over here and would stay relatively succinct over here. So again, we can try running attribute reader 2 in our text editor, and we get the same output. So those are getter methods, and that's how they work. I hope this was helpful for you.